10-4, I hear you, radio check. I just... It's $159 there.
I kind of like that up in local water and home.
Yeah, Roger, that's that lady that passed away.
Okay, let's see if we can do the item of interest, sometimes known as the Old Tube Radio Network.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Such that it is, the Old Tube Radio Network. I think most things are working. When most things are working, I'm able to jump into the air chair and say hello, radio, and start the shortwave listener check-ins. Of course, the radio's coming up a little later in the net here. For those of you who are wanting to check in, or wanting to listen to the check-ins, we will be getting into that. My name is Dennis, the net control operator, sitting in the air chair tonight here on the Old Tube Radio Network. An item of interest that we have been doing for well over 35 years here in Central California, Channel 11, 27085, on Saturday evenings, where a group of whoever gets together to chat, talk with, compare notes on the classic tube radios from the Class D 11-meter citizen band radio service starting in 1958 when the FCC banged their gavel or whatever it is that they connected their coax up and said, yes, there will be a Class D service licensed to 23 channels. Tube radios were the only way to go back then. In about 1978. You couldn't find them anymore, but you can find them tonight right here on the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll get to that. Let's check in with our shortwave listeners wherever they may be, whether they're on the list or out at the YouTube link, which you can get, I think, over at oldtuberadio.net. Maybe you're checking in there. Who knows? It's good to hear you, and here we go. Looking for SWL 00. Over.
00 checking in.
All right, Wayne, thanks for being patient. Thanks for getting us started off on this 7th week or 8th week roster. It says 8/13/2022. You are sounding good, and we'll get you on page 4.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
All right, make some adjustments here. They're saying everything looks good. The tie, the suit, the pocket protector, which I remembered to put on this week. And we are good to go. Radio check-in for the cosmic check-in for SWL1, one of the guys that devised the plan, the craziness for the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL number 2, who I believe is out on the video chat on the video side. So say hello to Mr. OBP, Kevin, who is letting us know sunspot numbers are almost up to triple digits. I think the A and K index are behaving a little bit more than they were at the beginning of the week. And as you can hear, we are getting some DX contacts going on. Here's the map. Let me see if I can get the map in there. Well, you can see Washington, Oregon, Idaho, all along the coast of Oregon, Northern California, Central California, not so much, off into, looks like Nevada, Utah. So we just might hear, already heard 709 checking in. There's some down south, might get some Arizona check-ins, Las Vegas stations. Stay tuned, we might hear from you. If you hear OTR, give us a call, and we'll try and make a contact. Thank you, number 2, for checking in. There, 709 still going. We've got SWL3. I will get a check-in for Rob. Then we jump up to SWL7. Checked in earlier before the net. He might be back in time at the radio desk to check in as well. We're getting him checked in as well. A couple other early check-ins. We've got 91. Mr. Felix is needing a check-in, which we will get to at 91. Also, I believe it was 57, and that is Mr. Brown Dog Audio, who has been busy in the shop today. It's already late where most people are listening, so yeah, you do what you need to do. We'll get you checked in.
Brake channel.
And the brake channel, go ahead.
Dennis, 1590, please. 50 Pinedale Control.
All right, 650 Pinedale Control. You are now, I guess, able to exit and get into a much more comfortable position there.
Dad, gonna go get dinner and play with the grandbaby.
Sounds like a good thing.
Copy that. Have a good one. I'll see you guys next week.
We are on the directed net roll call. Play along with the home game if you've got it. SWL 10. That's Chrissy up there in Idaho, and we might have some conditions, so I'll get a proxy check in, but I'm thinking we might hear them direct at some point. Over to SWL 13, Mr. Cobra. I'll get him checked in. He stopped by last week. Late, but not late. I actually got him checked in. You can, you get into the old2radio.net, there's a chat window that allows you to check in. I think there's a Facebook link. We can get you in there. I do check that, or live a direct right here at 27085 somewhere, somehow. We will definitely get you checked in. Let's go over to SWL 16. And, of course, Charlie in Anoka, Minnesota, always with us right here in the control room to make sure things are going okay. And what is our drink tonight? Oh, they popped for a Gatorade. Was this in the? Let me try it. It looks like that's that weird. What is it? Oh, you put it in the freezer. Yeah, it's got that lemon limey thing. It's not bad. I know. Gotta keep my electrolytes up so I can get everybody checked in. Thank you, sir. Looking good.
Mr. 709.
And I'm talking behind skip. SWL 17. SWL 18. Mr. KDA from the Facebook page checking in. Okay, everything's working. I don't see any random updates on the computer. At the cue cards tonight, as always, from Derby, New York, Belfast, Maine. What do they say? Omnipresent and ubiquitous. SWL 19. Thank you, Chet. You are looking good tonight. Oh, you're dressed up too. What is that? Just in case. Just in case I have to run out. Chet will be taking over as net control tonight. He's got a suit and tie on. I don't know why. What is going on? Something going on in the green room? We'll find out when we get to Bob and Steve. Let's go over to SWL 20.
Hey, number 20 here, if you can hear me. Please check in me, 29 and 54, and I'll have an item of interest tonight.
An item of interest is a good thing, and we will be here. So if you can't check in direct, head over to Hawaii or Oregon, and we'll pick you up then. Sounding good, Harvey?
All righty, thank you.
20 is in SWL 21, Mr. JT, SC21, who is, what is it? Is it wonton salad tonight? Let me get the X and the square. I'll see if I can do a playback. JT was having trouble with his streams, whether it was the streams from the faucet with the water or the streams of the little 0-1 bits on old radio night, although he did get a good run. Let me see. I think it is this one right here.
There's no way to get at it.
Yeah, there it is. And then
so
the video was, it's the
top,
realistic
and then saw it flat.
TRC
and take
432.
A screwdriver and pry it apart and break it loose. It took me about an hour and a half to get it off and on.
There it is. Plumbing problems. Don't you hate?
You have to go to the Lowe's and get you a new faucet.
Don't you hate
I already
plumbing?
had it. I picked it up Thursday, I think, when I went to Lowe's. I bought a faucet. It's stainless steel.
You know, that's a real good guy conversation.
$159
Talking
there.
about their faucets. You know, they got a nice chrome thing. You know you are listening to two guys talking when they're talking about their fixing their faucets. All right, Unit 21, you are sounding good tonight. And we'll have more of the plumbing talk on Old Radio Night. Tune them in, won't you? All right, who's coming up next? Let me find out here. Did I get you checked in on the screen? Yes, I did. Let's go to SWL 22. Shortwave listener 23. Takes a while for my receive to come back. 23 Skidoo is out and about. I think he's in the radio van with various antennae and microphoniums ready to pounce on some frequency at some moment. So we'll be listening in for that. Let's try SWL 24. SWL 25.
Hello, Dennis. 25. Check it in.
All right, you are at the ranch tonight. Very good. Didn't know if you'd be out making some music, but you're making some fine music with the Eagle Radio and sounding good on the old Tube Radio Network.
Yeah, you have a really good signal out here at Madeira Flats, Dennis, and actually we played this morning from 11 to 3, so it's nice to kind of kick back, relax, have a cold beverage, and check into OTR. Anyway, thanks, Dennis, for the 35 years of service that you've done on keeping this OTR rolling. So, anyway, back to you, Dennis.
All right, I could say the same for you and all of the listeners and tube radio operators, that without which there would be no old Tube Radio Network. So it's really impressive and cool to know that many of our stations have been checking in, coming in on Saturday nights, foregoing, saying to the XBIL, I've got to go check on my faucet, and then running into the radio room and actually taking a transmission. But this has been a family affair from long, so we've actually talked to the XBILs and the kids and the grandkids and the grandparents all in the last 35 years. That's what makes it fun. So thanks for checking in. All right, I'm going to turn to page 2. Before I do, I'll scroll up just quickly on the video side, see who is out there listening in tonight. Uncle Hairball is in. Kenny, I see you there. We'll get you checked in. Mike, we're coming up to you. Alex Ahedo, he is out there. 007 Extreme CB is heading back to Jersey tomorrow, but joining us for the old Tube Radio Network tonight, and thank you for that. Echo 148, looking good on the stream. Foxman 362, doing a good job on the old Tube Radio Network tonight. UDX 483, saying hello to everyone. Cornbread is, what is that? Oh, Cornbread is not checking in. I'm going to, I put like 3 X's in the square for Cornbread, because I was thinking, he really likes, but he's not checking in, so I'm going to erase all of those. Bourbon 497 Gypsum says the internet is slow tonight. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just me that's slow tonight. It's like the problem is yours. Please adjust your radio. Rusty Rails, hello to you. Alex, what channel is this on? Yes, this is channel 11, 27085. So if you're in the skip zone, give us a listen. I am what they say in 11 meters of mud duck, but you might hear some of our other stations checking in as well. So we will see how that works. Levon is in on the off-the-shelf radio. Looking good tonight, Levon. Thanks for joining us here on the old Tube Radio Network. Private Thor, of course, joining us yet again saying 73s to all. Colo Radio, who is planning on going into Huntsville? That's one of the swap meets breaks coming up in your area. We'll have to get a report from that. Sometimes I know JT will actually give us some video from that. Popcorn 913 with the popcorn. So if you need some popcorn, see Mr. 913. And we'll go back to roll call. All right, I didn't break anything. Let's go to SWL 27.
27 checking in live from Studio G.
All right, had to wait for my old buzzer transmission out there at Studio G. I thought of you at the beginning of the month. I went to the Clovis Amateur Radio Pioneers meeting where they talked about FT8. I had to get myself educated a little bit about FT8, and it was QEL. No, not QEL. You're QEL. It was. I can't even. I'm trying to remember who did the meet on that, but he did a good job. Okay, you know what? If you're on a microphonium that has a battery, I bet the battery just died. Over.
Uh-oh. All right, I'll check it out.
Okay, because your audio is nice, but there isn't much of it, and the longer you talk, the less of it there is. It was Richard that did the presentation. But anyway, I know a little bit more about FT8 and even FT4. Thanks for checking in. Maybe it was SHL. I think that was Richard. Anyway, looking good. Let's go over to SWL 28 in beautiful Sacramento area. 28 checking in. Youth football this afternoon. Now ready to listen to the quarterback of the OTR team. I hope I do not fumble the ball. I'm going to do a lot of passing it off and throwing it here and there to get the people that actually are good to make our touchdown tonight. Hope everything went well. Weather's not too bad. You know, kids can do pretty, as long as you don't have horrible air quality, they can do pretty good out there. And like they're doing for me tonight, you just make sure you have plenty of your Gatorade. What is that? That's a lemon lime. You know, I think this is my least favorite. Oh, he's saying that's all we had in the ice chest. All right, my least favorite flavor, but it's good. I'm glad I have it. Thank you, Gary. Let's go. We got a check-in for Mr. Loner, SWL 29, and listening for our crew out there in Idaho, 10 and 30. Dwayne and Chrissy will be listening for you. Let's see. Let's go to SWL 31. SWL 32. Shortwave listener 33. Myself, Boso Control, Honking Proboscis, everybody here. Everybody that hangs around here at the old tube radio net control getting checked in here tonight. SWL 34. Get a check in for Jimmy, Railroader. They'll probably be in shortly. SWL 35, Mr. Bill. You know, I've neglected to look at my other screen and update that to see what is going on over there, because I know who's in Woodland Park in the balcony tonight. Hello to you, Reed D. California. We will get you checked in. If we don't hear you direct, Dallas, Georgia, coming up to you. Stations in Fresno listening in, Florence, Kentucky, Inez, Kentucky, Squamish, and Spokane, both in there tonight, up in the mezzanine, it looks like tonight. Hello to San Francisco, Redondo Beach, and right here in the front row, Anoka and Belfast, or way of Derby, New York, and of course the special lifetime pass to to Louisville, Kentucky. All right, who is calling for OTR? Over. I hear their station calling for OTR, but I'll listen, give it a try again if you can hear me. Over. Well, I do see Bill from Cheyenne getting checked in from Cool Cheyenne. Yeah, I know some people, from that area, and they always say, August is it. August is definitely the end of summer, so enjoy the coolness, and it's cool that you are checking in. SWL 36. SWL 37 checked in moments ago, finding the proper position for listening to the old tube radio tonight. And Cornbread says, did someone say Fresno? Yes, that's F-R-E-S, capital N, capital O. That's the perfect way to do it. SWL 38. Sam's in Byron, always listening in for that short skip, that E-skip, to see if we can make the contact. So we'll be listening in for that. Neil, I see you in on the board. We'll make sure you get checked in. SWL 39. And Rusty Rail is putting out a CQQRZ from Arkansas. Yeah, I'm looking at the DX map is not friendly between Central California and Arkansas this time, but we will get you checked in. Let's go over to SWL 40.
SWL 40. Checking in. I will be starting the stream at the Old Tube Radio check-in time.
Okay, and then we'll chat more about that, where people can find the local SDR with the great pictures, and it should have the audio, and we will refer to that as well. Let's see. OBP, you've got it right. F-R-E-S, capital N, capital O. So thanks for that. So we'll talk about the video stream coming up. Thanks, Larry. Over to SWL 41, Road Dog 507 in the Hudson Valley. From Hudson Valley, CB Radio Club and Orange Ulster County React. Saying hello, radio, to all involved. Thanks for that. And Bourbon 497 says, we need more men talking about repairing their faucets. Yeah, listen to the replay of old radio night and compare your hot and your cold. And who was saying they didn't like I don't either. The faucets with the little handle and this, and you got to figure out to turn it this way. Yeah, just give me the two knobs, a H and a C. It's just like the radio. It's like, give me the VFO knob, right? Don't give me that little stick lever that you turn it on and then you don't know if it's hot or cold, and you know. It's like, maybe it's like flying an airplane, bank to the left and to the right. Let's go over to SWL 42. SWL 43. We got Crazy Eddie checked in. SWL 44. I think I heard Ray on one of the weekday nets sounding good. Might have trouble hearing Paul because we have a low-level skip that I can't hear much of, but he's up with some altitude. So we'll see if it's Hawaii or Oregon or Washington. Paul, who is messing with OTR tonight? Hello, 45. Probably everybody's messing with OTR tonight. Let's go over to SWL 46.
Good evening, Dennis. How are you doing?
I am doing okay. I haven't broken anything yet.
Me too, but my antenna's got to come down.
Mine needs to go up further. So hopefully, if whatever comes down can go back up.
It's going back up. I just got to put 2 gamma matches in it to reflect is going up.
Oh yeah, you want to be that reflected power is bad all the way around. But whatever you're doing, it's reflecting this way and it sounds good. We've got you checked in.
Thank you, sir. Good evening.
And let's see. Okay, we'll erase cornbread, but in its place, and I'll use the red pen. We'll put in Dapper Dan because I've got just enough. Cornbread and Dapper Dan fit in the same space in the little box. Let's go over to SWL 47.
Good evening, OTR. This is SWL 47 from the Radio Lounge.
Okay, hope you are enjoying the lounge. We still have lounge weather for sure. You are sounding good. Thank you for the check-in. Over.
Yeah, thank you. I spent a good amount of time in Huntington Lake this afternoon, and it was definitely lounge weather. It was in the low 70s up there, and just absolutely gorgeous weather.
Yeah, listening to like the high 70s up at Lodgepole. That's at 7,000 feet. So, and the air quality is still pretty good. So it's a good time all the way around. Thanks.
Thank you.
The old tube radio network. We're in the directed net roll call. The radios are coming up tonight. SWL 38. Hey Sam, I see you. We're on the page. Let me get you. Waiting for the E-skip to come in, or the sporadic. It just that's what we would need, or else you would need the the stacked moonrakers and the Henry amp that I think they're still waiting for some tubes to come in on that. Rusty Rail says 10 minutes after we signed off last week, that's when the station started coming in from California. You never know what's going to happen minute to minute on the chart here. Let me flip over to the chart. I believe it's right there. Yeah, look at that. OTR is below all those numbers. Everything from Oregon to Northern California, big time, up to 6 meters and out to Idaho. So we got to wait for that cloud to sink a little bit, and you'll hear it come in. The DX is out there, so that's the zone. We're not quite in the zone yet. We'll see what happens, but that's okay because we got a lot of great local stations that will be checking in tonight. Over to SWL 48, SWL 49, and Sam. I'll give Sam checked in. It's 48. Checking in on probably Facebook or not. All right, cornbread copy. All right, well, there's room. I'll make room. I'll make room so that what is it? When I check you in, we check in Dapper Dan, then I'll erase you, and then Dapper Dan, he just moves right up into the spot. It works out good. Sort of like that. It's like a timeshare or whatever. I don't know. Let's go over to SWO 50.
50 here, live and direct, betwixt no place and nowhere.
Wherever you go, there you are, and you're hearing me through all the whatever DX is happening, and of course you're always sounding good down here. SWL 51, Dave 305 was jumping in earlier on the stream up at the video. Dave, I saw you, so we are checking you in. Let's try SWL 52. SWL 53.
Proxy, Bel Air, Dennis.
Okay, he may have asked me last week because I noticed he was already pre-checked in, but I will make sure that he gets checked in here on the old tube radio network. Foxman 362 saying that I might get out in the Pacific. Last night I was on 40 meters Foxman, and I tuned in the Maui SDR because I couldn't hear it locally. Couldn't hear it in San Francisco, couldn't hear it in Utah. And my signal was beaconing in on the NVIS antenna. So sometimes that extra 1,000 miles or so works for that. So I hear you, and I think you are spot on with that. Let's get a check-in for SWL 54. SWL 55. Shortwave listener 56.
Just for kicks.
56. You know, when you've been checking in for 30 years, you can kind of complete each other's sentences. Checking the spotter. Oh, it looks like. Let me check the spotter. Yeah, we've got GFTs on there. We got ALG. We got a number one. A number one is out there beaconing on the spotter tonight. So keep a rein on that guy, okay? You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. Directed Net Roll Call is where we are at 57. SWL 57. Haven't heard much from 57. I know Ron said he is working on his stuff, but we've got 57 checked in. 56 is checked. I'm putting the X's in the wrong spot for some reason. 57's on checking in early from Central Kentucky. SWL 58. That's the station I was thinking about. That is Jeremy out there in Tennessee. I'll get him checked in. And the Ironman 786 is saying hello radio from the boonies of South Kakalaki. 59 looking good, and you are checked in. Direct from his appearances over at Old Radio Night. I don't know. He might have got in that faucet conversation too. I know Uncle Hairbell's got some great. He's got some great Moens and price fisters. I think he's a price fister guy. Let's go over to SWL 60. I bet Joe stepped away. I'm putting an X in the square. Joe, if you can hear me wherever you are listening, I'm checking you in.
Okay, we were way back there in the room there, and we did hear you. Made it up here. 60 checking in. Good evening, fellas.
All right, good evening. Yeah, I didn't want you to run willy-nilly to the radio and have some mishap, but you're sounding good and you are checked in.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, this just in. SWL 10, SWL 30, in the air chair at the microphonium. The DX is running in your neck of the woods, but the cloud just hasn't kind of floated down to Central California yet, so be listening. But in the meantime, we've got you checked in, 10 and 30 out of Idaho. Let's go to SWL 61. Sounding good, no problem, Copenhagen. The X is in square, over.
Thank you, sir.
And Albert and the Squamish boys noting that, they're in that zone. So once a cloud comes down, they're listening in. They're looking forward to a long-distance check, and we will be listening in for them, because I know they can make it because they have before. Let's go to SWL 62. And checking in there out in North Dakota, where it's probably cool, calm, and collected as well. And you are looking good here. Hope to catch you on 40, 10, 15, one of those frequencies again. That was good times if we can do it again. Who's coming up? SWL 63. Out there in North Georgia, we'll get Butterbean checked in. Wow, 85 degrees, having a heat wave. I think it was 99 today. We are looking for 100 plus all throughout the week. Sort of our last little push into, oh my gosh, it's summer. Let's go to SWL 64. SWL 65. Shortwave listener 66. SWL 67. Get a check-in for Bill up there in Oregon. SWL 68. Michael's saying that they just got out of the New York heat wave, so yeah, it's not 157 anymore. It's a little bit less than that. So got you checked in, 68, and glad to see that. Yeah, you guys, it's brutal when it's hot out there. We're in this kind of desert dry heat. You don't want to get that out there. I don't know. Do people have air conditioning? Is New York big for AC? I mean, here on the coast, a lot of people don't have air conditioning, so when it gets 85 degrees, it's not a good thing. SWL 69, Kenny in Tulsa, listening in possibly, checking in earlier. If you're watching the replay, Kenny, you are checked in. Take a look at, where's the number? It's over here somewhere. There it is, up there. Yeah, looking good. SWL 70. Some skips starting to come in. SWL 70. Yeah, I would believe South Carolina's big on the AC. You gotta dehumidify that water somehow. SWL 71. Let's go over to with the oldtuberadio.net page, and right there, Stan is so good. I never have to look far. Where I need to look, Stan is always standing right there. Out there in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you for checking in to the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 72.
72, checking in.
All right, Radio Boy 72, sounding good here on the AM mode tonight, the Old Tube Radio Network, and we put the X in the square. Over. Radio Boy is multi-frequency. You might hear him just about anywhere, so set your scanner, and he will be there somewhere. Let's go over to SWL 73. SWL 74, checking in from probably the movie room. Was there a breaker for OTR?
Very good. Enjoy this beautiful day and this weekend, Mud Duck in the Desert.
All right, the Mud Duck in the Desert for the Mud Duck in the Midtown. You're sounding good.
Check. 1212 radio check.
All right, always like that good audio. We are streaming, by the way, at oldtuberadio.net, a live audio stream for those listening or checking in, and we are listening. Let's look for SWL 76. SWL 77. Got a proxy for 77, which I will do. SWL 78 in Wild Wildemar.
Catcher Coco. Hey, Coco, you're making an awful lot of noise over here.
And I think the cloud is heading this way.
You're making a fine trip up here in the corner. Coco.
Let's try SWL 79. SWL 80. Do one more check of the DX chart. It's slowly moving down. We're losing some of the Washington, BC area. So we'll see what happens. You never know in this wacky item. Let me go back to SWL 80. Yeah, we hear you out here, the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
I'll see you, Coco. 966. Y'all take care, Rocket.
Anyway, we'll take a break here from the skip and everything else. See what's going on with Bob and Steve tonight. I know they were up working on the coax, trying to get OTR with the best signal possible.
27.085 OTR, channel 11.
Episode number 128, whoopee, for August 13th. Bob and Steve helping us out, as always. The Jingle Singers had to go out to the second annual Field of Dreams game, the Cincinnati Reds versus the Chicago Cubs in Dyersville, Iowa. Last Thursday, I actually took some of them to the airport. They missed the limo. The limo took off, and they were still doing stuff, so I ran them out there. And so with the jet fueled up, and off they went. It was a great game. The Cubs won. I guess that makes it a great game. If you're rooting for the Cubs, we had great seats, as always. I'm sure the Costco card had something to do with that. And they did get to walk out out of the cornfield. Okay. Did somebody say cornfield? They had to extend the naming of the mechanical bulls. Yeah, I know there was something going on with that, so because they had so many people who wanted to play. We had one of those little rolling hopper, mesh things, and we couldn't put all of the names in it, so we had to buy a bigger one. So hopefully we'll have the results on the naming of the mechanical bulls soon. So stay tuned, and I guess there's still time to put your name in if you want. Eddie has to come back for more adjustments. I think we just need a bigger hopper. He's got it set to run for 33 seconds. Which is a good time. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes there's so many things set to run for 33 around here, it will blow a fuse. At the bar tonight from Dyersville, Iowa, Family Restaurant, Ballpark Franks, how apropos, and apple pie. Boy, you can't get any more American than that. We'll be out there. I'll be out there. Soft drinks are on Bob and Steve. I think they have coffee and tea as well, but they're featuring the your favorite soda pop, your basic whatever you call it, soft drinks. It's all ready to go, and of course, we don't want you to forget to feed the fish.
27.085 OTR Channel 11.
All right, back in the air chair, direct net roll calls where we are at. There are tube radios waiting to check in, the classic radios from 1958 to 1978. We will get into those because we are indeed the old tube radio network. Over to page 4, and we are checking in. Where did my list go? There it is, SWL 81. And then over to SWL 82. I think 82 is out and about tonight, but I will get Ron checked in. He sits in the air chair of the Ditch Banks Friday night net that's here in Central California on 36 lower, 36,365, I think. I'm 36, 27,365. If you go to 36,365, you may get a letter, but not from Ron. So 36 lower, the Ditch Banks sideband net. All are welcome. There's a visitor's place you can check in, or just SWL. So let's go over to SWL 83. SWL 84. And I will get 84 checked in, and also 86, 87, and 88. 84, Jerry was sounding good on his vintage tube radio on the 40-meter noontime net. Also Mountain Merle, Mountain Maid, Sandy Girl, and Snowy Owl. SWL 89. And before we jump too far, let's go back to Wild Wildemar or somewhere, some remote location for 78 to see you on the list, and you are checked in. Got to look around the room to see what I'm forgetting, who I'm forgetting. Let's go to SWL 90. Shortwave listener 91. Mr. Felix, I don't think he's driving around in the Felix mobile like we have here in Fresno, but got him checked in on the early check-in tonight. Over to SWL 92. And you can hear that skip, it's down. My antenna's low, so it's kind of down in the background, but the band is definitely opening up. Southern New Jersey, I think, is where we're going now. 93 Sal C. SWL 95. And I'm trying to listen in one of my ears in case there are some DX check-ins, but you can hear it's a little weak tonight on the DX. Let's go to SWL 96. Making it through the fog. Yeah, you sounded good the other night on the Ditchbanks sideband net. Really nice on sideband, and likewise here on AM. Dennis, we got you checked in. Okay, and over to SWL 95. That is Mr. Warthog 95 from beautiful Orlando, Florida. I talked to the Miami station. I believe it's Oscar, who has really great audio coming in here. He's got a great system to pick me up. But here in Miami, Florida, on 40 meters, chatting with Oscar, says he does listen in to the old Tube Radio Network, so that was pretty cool. So, Warthog, I'm sure we can get you out of Orlando, Florida at some point. If I'm on the right spot at the right time. We got you checked in. Let's head up the coast to Boston, SWL 97. All right, who's that checking in? Over. All right, not quite catching that, but I think someone is trying to check into the old Tube Radio Network here in Central California. In SWL 13, I see your comment down there. I'll get you, make sure you got the official check-in. Let's see, who are we calling next? Let's do SWL 98, and Tracy is in. Were you in last night on the item of interest? I don't know. I thought I heard. No, it wasn't you, but you might have been there. Anyway, I see you now. You are 98 is checked in. And I'm sure would have a trouble getting up to you with all the noise. And Joy saying, what is my CB handle during the week? I don't know. Back like 50 years ago, when I was in Southern California, because that's where I grew up, at the beaches of Southern California, my handle was, I don't know, here it comes, Canary, because I had a canary in my room, and it often could be heard doing that canary thing that canaries do over my microphonium. So probably, if I used to handle Manhattan 33, which I got down there as well. So I don't know. Not sure use a handle. But if you ever hear Manhattan 33, that might be me beaconing somewhere around the States. Let's go. Tracy is in. Who is next? Oh, you know what we're doing? Let me check in with Tony. SWL 100. So let me fire up. I think he's on the link up here. So let me see if I've got this right, and we will see if we can't get Tony on frequency KD4BAO from KB6GFD. And he'll beacon in. Here we go.
Good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100 KD4BAO back to net control.
All right, 100 is in. You are sounding good from all parts McClellan Village in South Carolina, where the air condition is probably cranked, and that is a good thing. 73 to you, KB6GFD. From the Echo Link out of South Carolina, that's Tony sounding good. Let's go up to, or down? Is it up or down? To over. Let's go over to Arkansas. Often limited, but never duplicated. SWL 102. Maybe that's what they used to call Brew 102. Thank you, John. We got you checked in. And the mud duck in the desert. Did we hear you? Did we hear you? Somebody was talking to you, I think. Somebody was talking to a mud duck out there. Maybe it was 709. the Fine Tune CB Shop. Thanks for joining us here on the Old Tube Radio Network. And Sal C is in. We got him. I'm just making sure I did not miss anybody here. We are listening for SWL 109.
Good evening, Dennis. Crawdad 109 checking in.
All right, from SSB to AM on a Saturday evening, 109, beaconing from Auberry to Midtown, sounding good. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
Over to SWL 110. Shortwave listener 111, Robert said he was trying earlier, but the skip was a little bit too intense, so Reedley Town, we've got you checked in. SWL 113. I have missed the Friday morning nets the last couple of Fridays, and Tom usually gets to check in there, but I haven't been on to see if I can hear him. Let's go. Oh, let's see. The guy that got us started off ever so long ago is 00 on the 2-for-1 coupon. Hello, Wayne.
114 checking in.
All right, 114. The circuit has been completed. Thank you, Rickshaw.
Thank you, Dennis.
All right, there should be, I don't know, should be something extra for people who actually hang around to do two check-ins. Let's head over to that SWL guy. Whiskey Papa Echo 91 Charlie Mike out there in Fairfax, Virginia. SWL 128, who I believe is listening in tonight. Indeed. I see you on my my list over there. Thanks for joining us. As always, here's the X in the square. We are heading over to, let's try Clovis Town, SWL 131. Over to north or west-northwest Fresno, SWL 133. Okay, Dave, sounding good into my headphoniums tonight. You've got the X in the square things. And Eric D. from says, McMurdo Station. If I go back to my early log, my little paper logbook that's falling apart, I indeed talked to somebody out there in McMurdo Station, but I don't know if it was a Kilo 6 Charlie 4 USB, but it was definitely out in McMurdo Station. It's always a fun contact to get when you get your wire up in the air and find them on 20 meters or 15 or wherever they might be. So thanks for the long distance check-in there, Eric. Let's go to SWL 135.
SWL 135 checking in.
135 checking in, and you are sounding good. It's still working, so should be good to go in a few minutes.
Yay!
All right, my J38 key is moving about on the desk here, and things are getting in the way, and it's moving the little lock bar. So I think I'm unkeyed, but I'm not. The brake, go ahead. All right, I hear your audio. I hear you in there, but it's not loud enough. It's still in my noise. Over.
Yeah, that's Harvey, and he was asking me a question, but I don't understand it. Harvey, well, fix what with channel 11? What are you talking about?
Now I gotta turn this on. Did you use the fix channel 11 press line? You checked it?
I checked it earlier, but I'm on the VFO right now.
Well, when you can, listening to Dennis, flip it to the fixed crystal, and then you can let me know sometime later if it sounds good.
Okay, will do.
Okay, there's an adjustment for that.
You know, that's what they all say. There's an adjustment for that. So, yeah, if you're listening to me, then hopefully there's an adjustment for that. Let's make an adjustment. Those playing the home game will go over to page 3. We'll go up to page... No, I'm sorry. We'll go to page 2. And we'll go down the page on page 2 to SWL 52, where we will insert the X and the square. What was... Somebody said, can't you put a square in the X? What's a square in the X? Let's see, where's 52? I got to get it official over up on the big screen. There it is. All right, Aaron, you are checked in over. The directed net roll call. The radios are moments away. Let's go to SWL 137. SWL 145, Tony. Oh, I get Tony checked in. I think he said he was going to be in a remote location. So he's probably far away. He's probably close to his microphonium, but his antenna is far away. And then I've got SWL 147, and Neil did check in earlier moments ago. And I think his items of interest have scrolled off my screen. Here we go. Kakalaki in the house. Good conditions most of the week on lower sideband, south and Midwest states. The weather is cooling off. It's the mid-80s. Loving it. And 73 from Dr. Jazz in the Carolina Sandhills. I think Dr. Jazz has made some cameo appearances in our jingle, with our jingle singers. So listen for that. I'll have to point it out next time that happens. Let's go over to SWL 188. Hello, Bobby. Let's try up to Course Gold, SWL 195.
195, checking in, Dennis. Staying cool up here.
Yeah, it was not too bad today. You know, we got the mornings are a little bit cooler, so it makes doing the morning stuff kind of nice. But it looks like it's going to be brutal all next week, so we'll enjoy it while we can. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you, Dennis.
I want to say hello to Crash 350, who's out there in Western Pennsylvania, and saying good evening to all. Talking to Australia on his 1968 FTDX 100. So that's not the other 100. That's one of the original. Let's see, the 100. I will have to look at the guys. I know they have the twins, right? And the Ken would have the twins, and there was a 400. That's what I'm thinking of. But this is the FTDX 100. Probably a cool radio, and hey, it works. So keep it on the radio shelf. And let's try Mr. Shockwave 226. And anybody else? But yeah, I can do it. What is that? Like Cornbread says, what is that aroma? Is that baking bread? Well, part of it's coming from the green room, but you can smell the dust burning off the tubes. That smell, sort of like, you know, the Christmas tree when you first put up the real. It's like that. You know they're on their way, and they are. So give me a moment to run around and plug some things in so we could get ready for the tube radios, and then indeed we will do what the old Tube Radio Network does best, and that's listen and talk to you on the old Tube radios. Back in a moment. You are listening to the old Tube Radio Network, channel 11 in Central California, streaming at oldtuberadio.net, and a YouTube video going on somewhere. Back in a moment.
Hey, Harvey.
Yo, Clifton.
Yeah, he sounds identical on the crystal, and the meter is showing identical signal. So I'm guessing it's right on.
Oh, right arm. Good. Well, I didn't do this one that way. I just happened to slip down, and Dennis was off, so I just tweaked it. I think I marked them inside. G for tunable, and then 2 and 3. If you ever have the occasion to adjust them, he is for the tunable, and then now it faces, let's say, vertical, and the other 2 are horizontal to the right of the vertical one, which is the tunable one. 2 is the top one, 3 is the bottom one. I think I marked them in yours. And basically, what I needed to do on this one was loosen all of them so they were all
The SDR stream is up and live. K6C11.
And I raised and lowered them a little bit to get all the dust out. Then I retuned them, and now they're like perfect. I did that on yours, I believe, so you should be okay.
Yeah, like I say, it's working just fine.
All right. Oh, you should be okay. Okay, I'm going away now.
All right, I believe we are back and all is well in the universe. We will give it a try for checking in the classic tube radios.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, thank you, Billy May and the orchestra. Thank you, Mr. Freeberg, X4000, doing the announcing duties there. We'll get X4000 checked in. My name is Dennis. I'm in the air chair tonight. It seems like the air chair, I haven't really set up, the air chair is lower than usual tonight. Let me turn on, let me fire up. We're talking about burning some dust out the tube, which we'll kick in the Johnson Messenger 223. What's some of the other things I need to do? Oh, now he's pointing. I know. He says, don't forget the pocket protector. Here we go. Tonight we are being sponsored, pocket protector, the Hoffman Easy Vision Television, Western Radio and Television Supply Company for 1415 India Street, San Diego. Normally they're from North Dakota. Let me see if I can get the less than stellar, is it that one? Yeah, the less than stellar out of focus camera. So you can see that I actually do have something here in my hand. Let's see, there it is, Hoffman. What actually is it? Hoffman. Let's see, a TV guy should know how to put something in front of the camera. Easy Vision. So there you go. If I don't break down the business here. And we are good to go on the Old Tube Radio Network. I have signed into the OTR list, and we are listening for any and all check-ins.
135, 135.
All right, 135, I have you step up in the air chair, but don't take a transmission just yet. Who was the other station?
Oh, that was a 49er out here with the late check.
All right, 49er with a late check-in. Let me get you on the SWL side. And if I can find my chart, indeed. All right, thanks for remembering the Old Tube Radio Network is the place to be. We've got you and Sweet Country Mama checked in, and thanks for that.
Well, yeah, I was just going to mention she's waving a hand, and we're wishing everyone a fantastic weekend. Have a good OTR glow in the dark.
All right, good deal. And there was yet another station out there. Who was checking in for OTR? Okay, didn't hear anything that time. So let's, at 9:10, and I know my clock is off. Let's go to operator. Someone asked about ask about handles. Operator Green Arrow Cliff. Before you get started, how did you get the handle Green Arrow, or what prompted the Green Arrow handle? Over.
Well, a couple of things. First off, I did archery for many years. Even taught the subject for a while, and of course there's the comic book character Green Arrow, and back in the 80s an awful lot of people out here were using comic book character handles, and so it just seemed like the natural one to do.
Perfect. All right. Well, someone had asked me about handle, and I thought, well, that would be a good question to ask our operators tonight, those that run handles. And I've been writing Green Arrow down on my paper forever, and if I knew that, I had forgotten. All right, tell us your radio of choice. It is sounding good. Over.
Yeah, I'm sure glad the radio's sounding good, because my voice is somehow not. Anyway, from Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. This is the International Crystal Executive CTZ 100. That's Charlie Tango Zulu 100. No A, B, C, or D. Just the original 100. 12 transmit channels, but all 23 channels on the VFO. I'm also running because it actually uses tubes, I'm running the external speaker with the meter in the middle of it. I think it's just called the speaker meter. And I'm not running it right at the moment, but I also have the, oh gosh darn, what is this thing? I gotta move my light. The International 150-203, oh blast, I don't have the paperwork in front of me, but it's a little microphone amplifier filter compressor thing.
Modulator clipper, speech clipper.
Yeah, what he said, the modulator speech clipper. And a reminder that if I find the video here, and there you are. Okay, you're going to scroll off the screen. But there you go. Well, all right. We'll find out what frequency you're on. I think they're still on the 200 gradients. And let me center the picture here. So we'll get a correct. Yeah, okay. We'll get a picture of your radio. We've got the picture of the radio, or of the CTZ 100. And this is from Bob Milam's collection. Bob had a great collection here on the West Coast. I don't know exactly where it is and what happened to it. Some of the radios are actually here. Look at that. It looks like it came right out of the box. It's got the little red light with the microphonium, the transmit selector, and all things good. So you've already got a couple of SWLs saying they like the audio coming through the stream. Over.
Oh, good. I'm glad. That's one thing I wanted to mess with tonight. And I am a bit low in frequency. Just a second, I have to be quiet. I got 0847 somewhere around there. Yeah, I forgot to mention the microphone. I'm on a Turner Plus 3B amplified desk mic going straight into the radio at present. Again, since this is its inaugural performance here on OTR. It's a new one for me. And is there any chance, like later on in the broadcast or the telecast or whatever it is, that I could check some other stuff out with you?
Yeah, not a problem. We're looking at your signal right now. Let's see, that's it's 400, so 300. It looks like it's about 27.084.6.6.5, something like that. Little mini grass coming in, so we should be around to do any testing. I mean, that was the whole point, as you know, of OTR when we started, was to actually get on and test the radios and fire them up and try microphonium. So we are good to go on that.
Okay, if we have time right now, I could just switch out another mic or something and see what's going on. But I wanted to do more extensive stuff. I've got 2 other mics, and I've got that little mic amplifier unit I want to check out. But it's probably going to take a while, and I don't want to, get in everybody's way.
Oh, not a problem. We'll see what's happening. I see the skip is mini-grass is coming in. So we'll see what we got there. I also got a rear shot of the radio. Shows the parts, pieces, fuses, antenna, things like that. So the reset button. So go ahead and do that. And we can take some questions. Maybe Harvey knows. How many tubes are in the CTZ 100? Well, I'm looking to the back. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it looks as though the radio itself has 7. But then there's that other piece that has a 6 BH6 and the 6 CL6. And I don't know if that's inside the radio or if that's somewhere else.
No, those are all in the radio. Let's see, I think there's 7, 8, 9 tubes in the radio. The speaker, I'm on a different mic, incidentally. You have to let me know if it sounds any different. I'm on a Super Sidekick now. The speaker actually has 2 tubes in it to run that meter. And the little mic amplifier, the external mic amplifier, has 3 more tubes. So I think that's a total of 14 altogether running right now. Now, suffering sibilance, a boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. How does this mic sound compared to the last one?
Okay, I think I like the sound better. I put up the Orban meter. You're like at minus 21, 22. The other one might be louder, but that's because it has some higher frequencies that are kind of shrill. So you might have a DX mic and a Ragchew mic. I think this one is a little bit better for your voice, but go ahead. We'll do, if you want to go back to the other one, we'll do that. I've got the Orban meter, see if it's got more audio punch. And we'll, if any of the SWLs want to chime in, go ahead and take it. Hopefully you haven't changed. Go ahead and take another transmission on this mic number 2. Over.
Yeah, the last one was the Plus 3B. This is still the Super Sidekick. Both Turner mics. For all the world, they look pretty much the same, but that's why I wanted to find out the difference in sound. I'm talking the same distance away, and I think I have them turned up about the same amount. I got it about 1 o'clock on the mic. And yeah, I didn't quite have enough opportunity to switch them out with that transmission. Incidentally, on the meter, I am on the 4,000 scale, and you are 40 over. Just thought I'd let you know because I can do that. It's kind of cool. This gives you a nice S meter to work with, and it's a nice big speaker too. I think it's a 5x7 or something speaker, and it sounds really good. I got to tell you, you and everybody sound great on it. So let me switch out mics real quick, and I'll be right back.
Okay, got the S meter to see what your forward movement is on the meter. On the picture we have, the backside looks like it might even have a mic gain control, a very little tiny knob or something to turn things around. And then, of course, we've got the Orban meter, which is a level of loudness in, I guess, levels up to full scale or something like that. So if you change the microphones, we will listen. We will take a look at the S meter. We'll take a look at the Orban meter and see if anybody thinks there is a preferred microphonium. Back to you.
Okay, yes, thank you. That was that was definitely a good amount of time. Just the perfect amount of time for me to switch the mics out. Okay, so this is this one, boom, 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 suffering savage sibilance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Again, the mics are set exactly the same. I'm talking the same distance. So you say this one's a bit shrill?
It has more high frequencies. Oops. Making sure we keep down here. It has more high frequencies to it, so it actually does have a little bit more loudness, but I don't think it's as clear. I don't think it's as clear as the other microphone, but it might be better. It might be punchy if someone is farther farther away. So I'm going to say this is more of a DX sounding mic, and the other one is more of the rag chew mic. It might be a little less in the gain, but it's not as shrill in the high frequencies.
Okay. It might be good for cutting through the skip, though. And it looks like it's given me better swing than the other one, I think, too. But the Super Sidekick really sounds that different, huh?
Yeah, looking at the meter, and you're getting the similar modes, but your peaks with this. Chrissy says she likes the sound better on this microphone, so of course it's going through my processing, or it's going through my sound card with minimal processing and coming through. So depending on how you're listening, like I said, this definitely is a much more punchier and a little bit louder sound. So as long as nobody's complaining, this is probably the microphone that'll give you the most bang for the buck out of the radio. Over.
Okay, but how about clarity? Because I can always turn this down, you know. Let's see, if I go back to 12 o'clock, there, did that help any?
No, I think you need to, I think you had it correct. You've got it correct for the loudness and the gain. It's just, it rolls off a little bit more of low frequencies and accentuates a little bit more of the high frequencies, but I'm not hearing flat topping or any bad things coming out of the radio.
Oh, well, that's a good thing. Okay. I guess we'll stick with this one for right now, but like I say, I want to check out the little mic amplifier and all that other good stuff a little later. That'll take more time for me to switch out and all that kind of stuff. And let's roll on with some other radios. But good enough debut for this one. Hey, it's my first international crystal radio.
All right, and for the SWLs, give us which microphone. There was the Sidekick and the other Turner. So which is this one of the flavor that you're on right now?
Oh, yes. This is the Turner Plus 3B.
All right, the Turner Plus 3B. I've got the picture on. Yeah, you get a little hook. You go low in frequency, below 400, and it kicks right in, and it comes in. So a little low on frequency, it fires up low, it comes in, and there you go.
Well, that's good. Yeah, it's a little low in frequency. But it shouldn't be too much. It should be close enough for jazz, close enough for government work, and hopefully close enough for OTR. What do you think?
It sounds good as we get the gray line coming into the Pacific. International Crystal Manufacturing. It's a CTZ 100. Sounding good. And let me go back to the picture. Got a great picture from the collection of Bob Milam on both the rear of the radio, which actually has some controls and things you can do in a nice schematic. And also, let me go back to, if I can get to the front side of the radio, where this one looks like it just came out of the box. And I'm sorry I'm not showing the external S meter and speaker. I had the picture last week, and I don't have it easily to get into, but that's another addition that makes this radio well worth having on your shelf for sure. Sounding good.
Okay, yeah, I've seen the picture of, I think last time when you were talking to Harvey, you had a picture. I hope you find that, because it is a really neat accessory, and it really does help with the operation of the radio as well. With that, we'll let it go, and we'll catch you near the end of the show.
Okay, in fact, there it is. It's got its own separate picture. That's why I couldn't find it. I was looking the wrong way. The 0 meter. I like that. It's almost like it's in stereo. You might think you're listening to stereo, but I don't know if it does. And I asked Harvey this. Does it have? It just has one speaker, but the grill is bifurcated. Am I saying that correctly here?
That is absolutely correct. The front firing speaker is actually mostly blocked by that meter in the center of the box and everything there, and the sound comes pouring out through the slots on the sides. So it still sounds great.
Yeah, and that's a great meter too. You got S units and some other setting on the top of that. So good deal, and it matches the item. That is OTR. There's no wood grain. They're not trying to make it look like it's a piece of stereo gear. It is definitely a two-way radio with extra add-ons. Nice stuff.
For the executive radio operator. Yeah, thanks for letting me check it in. I'll be back later.
Hey, Dennis?
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
Okay. On Facebook, on the, Friends of, Browning Trans-Sonar Radios, whatever that site is. I put a picture of a clip setup and the modulator speech clippers in it, if you want to look at that. Okay. And you get to look at clips. Alrighty, we're out.
All right, good deal. We will search for that. It's always kind of hard to find the Facebook stuff, but I will see if we can find it. Let's see. I wanted to go over to the DX maps because we're getting some DX coming in. And we're definitely getting a little bit less here conditions on the West Coast, but you can see things are still opened up in that big 34. So it's just the luck of the draw, and the sun goes down and things happen. Radio number 1, the International Crystal Manufacturing CTZ 100. Nice audio, nice rig. And this is the Old Tube Radio Network. We are going to be listening for Radio 2. I want to see... Now, last week we gave the Jingle Singers the night off, but everything should be good. We've fixed some of the microphone problems that we had, so we'll go over to them right now and be back in just a moment.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you, OTR, and hopefully for you and you, listening for radio check-ins. And hello to Radio DX1 from the northeast corner. You're probably hearing us on channel 11, 27085. OTR standing by. Okay, who is the station that doubled with the skip land there?
Was that me?
Yeah, try it again. I think someone came in at the same time of you from DX.
Well, let DX talk.
Well, that's good. Sean even says that the DX is in and messing us up in Sangertown. Sometimes it's hard to compete with. It's hard to compete 20 miles away with stations that are 2,000 miles away. How is that?
For the X to drop out.
Okay, yeah, I think it'll do that. We're probably right in the middle of it now. Get through the gray line. You know what I'll do? I've got an OTR. What do they call it? Golden oldie. And see if I can find it here. We'll go ahead and that takes about a minute or so. We'll see what's going on. And this is from almost 10 years ago. Went back into the OTR archives. And if you were around on August 13th, the week of August the 13th, and you tuned into the Old Tube Radio Network back in 2012, this is probably what you would have heard on the Old Tube Radio Network.
Well, thank you, Dennis. The Jingle Singers proposed an interesting question, but what are the magic radios tonight?
There are 10 magic radios. We've got trams, Heathkits, Icos, Brownings, General Radio telephones, and Chris's. How about that?
Well, let's see if we can make a Bernstein Appleby one of those magical radios tonight, the Bravo Alpha 23. Well, thank you, Dennis. I'm using the same amplified D104 that I used on the tram.
Okay, is that a direct connection?
Yeah, that's correct. There's no adapter. It's, I want to say, just by my eyeball, it's like a 1/4-inch RCA plug.
give us another key down on the Bursting Appleby. Am I seeing double? I see what looks like two selector windows. So do you have a separate transmit and receive?
Well, there are two separate windows there. One is for the crystal controlled transmit, and the other is for a tunable VFO. So, yeah, they kind of look identical, but it's a transceiver. Well, actually, I'm transmitting obviously through the crystal, but I'm receiving through the VFO.
That radio has a bit of a ping to it, but anyway, it has just, I don't know if you can hear that, just a little bit of a squeak to it when you key down.
Yes, I can. I hear just a little bit of a chirp when I key down.
Phil from his ever-growing collection bringing us the Bursting Appleby 23.
Well, thank you, Dennis, for the opportunity to bring these by. I think this will probably be the last one I'll check in for this evening, but I certainly will be listening to the rest of the program. So back to OT.
And there you have it, from 10 years ago, almost to the day, from the old Tube Radio archives, SWL 56, on the very rare Bursting Appleby BA23, which is another one of those radios that was made like we had last week for Spiegel Catalog and J.C. Penney and Montgomery Ward's. This one produced for Bursting Appleby and that looks very much like an Olson spotter. So good stuff. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We're listening for radio number 2.
About 60, Dennis.
Yeah, we can get you in. We've got a parking space right in the front here at 932. Hello, Joe. I'm marking you in the book. And come on and take a transmission over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yes, we'd like to check in our blackface, Johnson Messenger 2. I believe we got 10 tubes, 10 channels, and we're on a D104 amplified.
Amplified D104 sounding good on the Messenger 2. You've got all the controls in the right spot to make it sound good. And I will pose the same question that was asked of me and that I'm asking our radio operators as they come in. You go by the handle Hustler. Some people have had many handles throughout their radio career, but currently, how did you come across, for our SWLs, how did you come across using that handle over?
Well, Dennis, my brother Frank, he was with Seabeers Unlimited, the club way back, and they had a pool table in there, and well, hey, that was my game, and I went in there and showed off a little bit, and one of the guys told me, he says, if you're going to get a CB handle, if you haven't picked one up, you should call yourself the Hustler, because you shoot a pretty good stick.
All right, that's one thing I could never do well. Well, that's many a thing, but I'm sure I would have been hustled off the table if I was. I would have had to borrow a stick too. All right, good story. I thought it might have been something like that, but you just never know. And told well here on Storytime on your old tube radio, the Messenger TWO. All 10 tubes are up and running and sounding good. Back to you.
Well, we thank you much, Dennis. And before that, there on the old Super Bowl channels, way back there. You know, speaking of a long time ago, there on the Super Bowl channel, I went by the Cracker Jack, the 1-ton modulation on channel 6. But anyway, I hope this thing's sounding okay, and I see all the tubes are glowing like the way they should be.
And that's a good thing. That'll get you on the tube radio list, radio number 2. E.F. Johnson's radio that took them up to I think it was 68 or 69. It took them a while to get to a 23 channel on the tube radio, and then they came out with a lot of solid-state mobile radios as well. But Johnson's sold a lot of radios. They were well thought of as a company, and I think They did good service as well, so working good in the citizen band radio, also amateur radio as well. You can't go wrong, especially on a transmitter, running an E.F. Johnson 10 tubes, original price of just under $170. It will run 115 volt AC or 12 volt DC with the other cable, and it looks like at oldtuberadio.com you can find a schematic for that radio. Oh, and you know what I forgot here? Come back, take a transmission. I want to put you on the picture. The 485 stream is up, and so take a picture and we'll see how that looks. Over.
Okay, well, we appreciate that, Dennis. You know, you're putting a smile on the old blackface Johnson here. But doggone it, we do appreciate that, and I hope that we are broadcasting the way it should be. I've got another one warming up there, and Dennis, I'd like to get that one keyed up this evening too.
All right, looks good. It does the low hook, comes in. It looks like it's just about 270848, or a little bit below that. And you can see the skip behind you. There's some other old tube radios behind us. I can see the same kind of footprint, but it looks good, nice and stable when it keys up. When you key down and it keys up. Radio number 2, the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO. On your old tube radio network. And what do they say? And the audio that punched through your RF gain is not to blame, it's just the sounds of DX, said the Espresso Trucking Company. And Chet, where's Chet? Yes, with the cue cards. Let's try and go out, see if you can find, if they're not in the studio, which they might not be, see if you can find the 8-track. And I think tonight we will try to go out with the sounds of DX here on the old tube radio network. Fire up the 8-track for those of us that remember our 1976 automobiles, or the automobiles that we had in 1976, and we weren't lucky enough to have a cassette deck, but we did have an 8-track player. The old tube radio network is listening for radio number 3. And boy, the skip does definitely come up. All right, well, let's beacon out to the masses here and let them know exactly who we are, the old tube radio network.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you, wherever you are. Your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
And let's say hello to those who have just arrived up in the balcony tonight. Logan, Ohio, up in the 431 zip. What's going on in Logan tonight? As it is just after midnight, mostly cloudy and 65 degrees around the area. Ewing, Webb Summit, and all points north and south. Spokane, Washington, listening in tonight. Might even hear us on the skip. The skip went long for us in Spokane, where it's clear, and 70 degrees, tuning into the old tube radio network. Germantown, Wisconsin, one of our faithful digital listeners out there, just approaching the midnight hour, cloudy and 65 degrees. Hello to San Bernardino. What's happening in San Bernardino tonight, where it's 85? All right, you're about the same as it is here in Fresno out there, so it is all doing good. We're listening for radio number 3. The old Tube Radio Network. Let's check the DX map. Should still be on. Yeah, and it's... Things are starting to thin out a little bit, so all the skip that we're getting is coming across the ocean, but there's still some hits. That one, the number 19's heading our way. Still something out near, looks like Montana. Oregon is in, but it's lightening up. But notice the numbers are going up to 45, 38. That's your maximum usable frequency. We're at 27. So indeed, there are still some chances for some long-distance check-ins. The old Tube Radio Network, listening for radio number 3. Trying to find my Keir Upper. Hello, 60. Welcome back to the old Tube Radio Network. And we've got you for radio number 3. Take a transmission.
Thank you, Dennis. Dennis, I'd like to check in my Robin 123B. 11 tubes, 23 channels. And unfortunately, we have 10 extra channels. A couple of switches here in front here will give us a little more than 23 channels. And you are on the external speaker. I'm on a Robin 123B with a D104.
All right, nice loud audio. And that one is different. It keys up closer to being on frequency and hooks itself a little bit on the low side. Let's see, 200, 400, 600. It's down to about 27,084. There was a little bit of distortion in the audio when it first started, but it cleared up. So take a transmission, see how it fares here.
Well, Dennis, we lowered it down just a little bit. We want to make it right. We're not on the D104 lollipop. We're on a D104 hand mic. I wired this one up here to the radio the other day due to the last week's the D104 kind of messing up. We took that one apart and are cleaning it all up. So in the meantime, we wired up a D104 hand mic.
All right. Well, a good transmission that time. No issues with the audio. One of our SWLs says, Eric says the Robin sounds crispy, and that is a good kind of crispy. You know, it's nice and punchy and doing a good job, over.
Oh, thank God, doggone it. Yeah, we were kind of worried about it. We weren't quite sure about the wiring on the mic here, but we took a chance there. Hey, okay, well, doggone, I hear the skip too. I hope it's not covering me up.
No, you are coming through just fine. Let me put in the picture. Oh, we got the mud ducks. There's the there's the Millard tubes. Let me find your there it is. Now you come in and it stays strong, over.
Well, good there. Yeah, we're glad to hear that. And doggone it, you sound good on the external speaker. I like the amber light there on the external speaker, and also the light on the PA speaker when you're using the PA. And this one does engage. When you engage the PA speaker, it stays engaged. I've heard people say that when they let it go, it comes back out. This one stays engaged. And it also has a PA light and a few other extra lights there. But the one making all the fuss is the modulation light.
Yeah, keying up at 9 S units and pushing its way up to 5 to 10 over. That usually means the audio is a good thing. The radio to which we are listening, let's go back. The Robin T123B, the nice green radio. He's got the one that Joe has some modifications that we don't show. I'm going to describe the front here, and you've told us before. There's the S meter, and then you go over the channel selector, and the selector knob, and then you've got the external speaker mod PA lights, and then the speaker. Where on your front panel are, I think you said there were some switches. I was assuming they were on the front, but they might be in the back. Where are those secret switches located?
Okay. We got a micro switch. If you're looking at the meter itself, on the right there's a screw. There's a switch right between those two screws on the right-hand side of the meter, the little micro switch. And if you look over to the right, to the external speaker light, right next to it are two screws. And there's a second micro switch.
Okay, yeah, sounds like they might have used the screws to actually hold in the switch, because there's a screw underneath the speaker and one there. All right, well, I'm glad you've got the roadmap on the switches to know what they do or what they can do, and to know where they should be for the old tube radio network, because that could throw you off.
Yeah, yeah, they would throw me off all right. They'd get me off of 11 and possibly get me on an upper channel, a higher channel, because they do start from 1 to about 10. And I think channel 1 is 26, 27. I think one is, they go up from there from 30, 31, 32, on up to, it's about 10 extra channels. But right now the switches are staying right where they're at.
All right, good. You're still on our screen. Yeah, that radio slowly drifts lower on frequency, and we can kind of hear the skip behind you. There's somebody else keying up, going up. So that's what you hear when people are keying down. You hear that's what's going on. Everybody's kind of finding their own frequency. Joe has found our frequency, the old tube radio network 27085. He's brought by radio number 3 from Robin, the classic second generation Panasonic chassis in the form of the Tango 123 Bravo. It sounds good. Thanks for bringing it by. Over.
Thank you much, Dennis. We'll put the old pretty green radio on the quiet side for a little bit, maybe till next week. We got another one warming up.
All right. Thanks for that here on the old tube radio network. Doing a good job with us tonight. And is it the jingle singers would like to come in? And so we are good to go. Back in just a moment.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the old tube radio network.
The station for you is
OTR.
All right, let me with this duck. This duck keeps showing up. Okay, that is a duck. That is a mallard, not a mallard tube. So if you find that in your radio, then that would be a bad thing. All right, something just happened to my mouse. And it always happens when the duck is on. I can't change my picture. So we're stuck. We're stuck with the duck on the old tube radio network. We're listening. Yeah, some cacophony out there. All right, well, while we're waiting, I got the mouse fixed with the duck and cover. While we are waiting for the skip to die down, let me see. I may have yet another blast from the past replay. And I think this is also from probably 9 years ago or so. So let's give it a shot here. This is what you might have heard if you were tuning into the Old Tube Radio Network about this time, maybe 9 years ago.
Control, go ahead. Well, the mission is to get these old tubers working again and get them checked in. So here I am, checking in the Executive, the Robin T240D, the newest addition to my collection, and bringing it by the Old Tube Radio Network tonight.
And we're talking with
how good is your
Smitty,
yellow?
SWL49.
Did it, survive okay? My yellow is very nice, actually. There's a few spots here and there. There's a little bit of rust on the back chassis in a couple of places, but nothing too bad. Sure looks a lot better than my last Robin did. This was acquired from a collection that had not been used for a long time, so when it showed up Thursday, it looked like it had not been used for a long time. Needed lots of cleaning, a few tubes replaced, and just some love to get her back on the air. With the radio, I'm using the factory handheld crystal microphone, which is a change for me to be able to get a factory microphone with one of these vintage Bone Acres. So very happy about that. Nice little microphone. Fits very nicely in the hand and very well made. Matter of fact, the whatever it's made out of, it almost looks like Bakelite, but I think it's a little too late for that to be true. But here she is, happy to have another one to sit right beside my green machine, and happy to bring her by here on a Saturday night. By the way, hope you guys all have a great Easter, and I thank you very much, Dennis, for checking this one in for me tonight. All right, Brian, it's going to be Radio 14 at the top of the hour.
All right, well, I must have misspoke. This must have been from earlier in 2013. They said, have a great Easter, which usually doesn't happen in August. But anyway, that's back from about 9 years ago, the Old Tube Radio Network. We've been streaming now for over 11 years, so we've got a good supply of radios and things in the archives. Don't I wish we had the cassette and the 8-track tapes going back in the 1980s to see what was happening there when we were checking in all those Lafayette's and other things. But we're still checking them in. We are listening for radio number 4.
Hey, Dennis, did you start checking in yet?
We are checking in right now on the Old Tube Radio Network. Over.
About 131, because I have no idea if you got there or not.
Yeah, somebody proxied you in, but I will give you the full X in the square right now. Over.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Right, 131, Mr. Brood, on the microphonium and sounding good. So who's talking to the mini crash? Are they getting DX to the Midwest? It might be that way. Who knows? OTR standing by, listening for Radio 4. Now, I'm hearing some Eagles can up out there. Now we're getting Australia down under this. So the band is super long now.
I'm seeing it's MTF over here.
Now, for those watching the video, there's the footprints of the stations coming in. You can see there are definitely some old tube radios keying in on frequency. I wonder if we'll hear them tonight.
Worldwide, Mighty Mouse. You showing up live on these shaky.
Yeah, Sean, that's too bad because this skip is actually coming up. What's happening is as we go into darkness here, the gray line is happening towards Australia and Hawaii. So as their sun is going down, that's messing us up here.
Well, we'll give it a shot there, Dennis. Number 60.
Yeah, you're loud enough. I think we've got time for another radio to pop in here to give it a try.
Yeah, we'll give it the best shot we got here. We got this little blue radio, little small, tiny radio here, half the size of my Robin. We have from World Radio Labs, my Hustler, my pretty blue radio.
All right, we heard the story of the Hustler and out in the pool hall with Minnesota Fats and the Hustler doing their thing, and now we will hear the story, or from the story from the Hustler as Joe keys up, or is it keying down? I never know. As Joe keys up on the World Radio Labs Hustler. Give us a transmission, another one, over.
Thank you much, Dennis. Yeah, I did play with familiar names like that pool player, Minnesota Fats. I played against one. He played me with the stick backwards. He called himself Koufax. Pretty good guy. He played backwards. He played with the stick backwards, and I still couldn't beat him. Anyway, Dennis, I think my little Hustler bass here has 7 tubes, 8 channels, and a few features here on the front, and I'm on a +3, Dennis. A +3, Turner +3.
Sounding good on the +3, the Hustler 7 channels. I believe you are right. It's a very, I'll call it a basic radio, but they managed to put in an S meter. It's kind of an interesting, almost like an afterthought. It looks like they said, yeah, there's a space in the middle here, and they don't have the standard, left to right to throw on it, but it probably serves its purpose. It's tuning all 23 channels. It'll select 8 with the crystal and a external crystal socket, so you can have your favorite channel on the ready. So if you wanted to have all 23 channels, you could put in your favorite 8 and then plug them in from the inside, outside, squelch and volume, tuning in the bottom, and that beautiful blue. Take a transmission will bring up the 785 stream going on and see where that thing lands on the spectrum. Over.
I can't go there, Dennis. Doggone it, we were fortunate to pick up this radio with the Pretty Blue mic, the original hand mic, and the mounting hardware still attached to the radio. And the little meter is extraordinary. It is small. Does the job. You first turn it on, comes up from the bottom to the top, and then of course you got to fine tune it there. Yeah, kind of a backward situation, but yeah, and the old speaker box, it's only a little 2x2 inch speaker, but it sounds like a 4x4 when it's on.
Yes, it does. It's interesting. Your radio comes in from stage left. It comes in from channel 10.5. and scoots right into 2708864, and then it's rock solid. It's right there and ready to go. And it sounds good here on the old Tube Radio Network. A good selection of microphoniums, and you can't beat it. Like I said, in all the years that we have been doing the old Tube Radio Network and SWL3, Rob had a lot of Globe and World Radio Labs. I don't think he ever had a Hustler, so it's always a treat to get something that in our 35 plus years is a new radio to us.
Oh, well, thank you much, Dennis. Doggone it, we're pleased. I just love the fact that it is a little Hustler radio. I never would have thought of ever even looking for one. Okay, Dennis, that's going to pretty much do me on this end. That goes, I think this is my final radio for tonight, and we want to thank you for making all this possible, Dennis.
All right, well, I'm just the guy that sits in the chair looking goofy, and then I rely on our tube radio operators to spend all the money and take the time and get into the Radio Shack. Thanks for radio number 4, the World Radio Labs Hustler. Are the jingle singers ready to go? Yeah, they're stepping up to the microphonium here.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us.
Old Tube Radio.
And be modern.
Be modern. And I'm always busy doing the stuff of OTR, and then I'll look up at the chat window, and I'm seeing something about Joni Mitchell. I'm thinking, were we talking about Joni Mitchell? But apparently, Joni regrets, back in the 60s, giving up her husband, the Robin executive back in the day. And wasn't that her song, right? The Big Yellow Taxi, talking about that T-240D. Late last night, I heard screen doors slam, and a big yellow taxi took away my old man. Or maybe, what's the other one? The Urge for Going. I don't know. It gets crazy on the chat window. Thanks for joining us. And who knows? Joni Mitchell was pretty prolific. There may be some songs about tube radios in her repertoire. We are the Old Tube Radio Network. Counting and amounting, I am. If you've got a radio, get it checked in now before we go. And Chet says he thinks he may have found what I was looking for, something for us to sign out on. So, let me know, because we're running short here. OTR is counting and amounting, listening.
Dennis?
This is the Basic Dennis, over.
Basic Dennis. The TTC 100 Alpha. The 100 Alpha with a Shure crystal hand mic, but the 100 Alpha does not have the 12 channels. Someone put 23 into it, and it works great. Very similar to Cliff. Well, mine's got a 23-channel dial on there. Looks real good. I also have the speaker meter hooked up to it. But I don't have the modulator speed flipper because somebody escaped from my house with it and it ended up in Cliff. Anyway, this is my TTC 100A. So we'll have at least 2 international crystals tonight.
Yes, we will. The A, let me put the close-up picture of the A. I agree. Without back-to-back comparison, I'm going to say it looks very, very similar to the 100. So obviously they might have made some internal improvements or something like that, or maybe put an extra knob on the back, over.
Everything's basically the same. They changed the final circuit. There's a extra tuning coil, with double neutralization of the final and driver, while only neutralization of the final in the 100. That's one thing I noticed. Couple little small other little part changes, but nothing major. And I've got, and while I was looking around for these things, International Crystal made a hand mic. It's actually a Shure kind of round hand mic. I don't have that right now. It's somewhere in the garage. But I did find the International Crystal banana mic, and it works. The cartridge is a little weak, but I have it, and it looks great.
Wow. All right. Keep it with the radio. Put up the 785 picture. Interesting. That radio doesn't do the big hook, either left or low or high on frequency. It's pretty close. It sweeps right in, and you are very close to 27085. You're just a little bit high, but once you key down to key up there, it stays pretty stable. So that International Crystal is doing a good job, and the audio is not too bad over.
Roger, just a stock mic. Yeah, I'm just a hair high, about 1/10, I think. Anyway, that's it for me.
All right, sounding good. It will be radio number 5, the International Crystal Manufacturing CTZ 100 Alpha. Yeah, there's my thing centered. It kind of gets close. It takes a little curve to the high side, and it stays right there. And the carrier looks pretty good. It's not wavering at all. So good stuff going on with your International Crystal Manufacturing. Thanks for joining us. Sound like somebody trying to do the train whistle. Good night to Eric D. And I'll get out of here too. It is that bewitching time. And okay, where does he's showing me the things? Did you see we have it? But I want to do that. Did they find it? Did you find? I can't even. Yeah. All right. So which one are we going to do? Chet found the 8 tracks here. So okay, I'll give them to him. He'll fire them up. It would be nice to have them live, but they'll probably be around. Espresso Trucking Company. I don't know which track he's going to play on this, but anyway, go ahead and get him fired up because we are getting out of here. The Old Tube Radio Network, counting and mounting in moments. Hello, radio? All right, boy, are you on a different antenna? I can just barely hear you. Okay, what radios that you wanted me to check in? All right, yeah, you don't need to turn the audio up. It's just your signal is weak. Don't wreck your audio. And is that your signal? Holy cow. It's it's sort of running all over the place. It starts here and moves around and it changes and it wiggles and it comes up, but it's kind of there. All right, so which Browning is this over? Just barely. It doesn't even sound like it sounds like you're on a dummy load. Yeah, normally I can hear you better than. You know what? I bet I have my noise that came up. It's usually right about 10:06. Let me check my S meter. Yeah, but still, you should be stronger than that. All right, which Browning are you on?
Check that modulator, Harvey.
Yeah, I think part of it is my issue. I get that extra 2 to 3 dB S unit of noise that comes in right after 10 o'clock, and then it messes with my noise level. Because normally I can hear you okay without the range boost. All right, I will check in the Browning Golden Eagle R68 T68, but I didn't get what flavor it was. Oh, the Bagel and the Beagle, okay.
Stronger than that, Harvey. That modulator's not working.
Well, I think it's working. Just everything's attenuated, so I don't know. I'll have to go out and make sure that he didn't ask Bozo Control to come fix his antenna. All right. OTR, I think we are ready. Let me get back to the control room here. I think we are ready to do a little counting and amounting. And to do that, I need the help of the jingle singers with the fanfare.
This is the Old Tube Radio Network. Ladies and gentlemen, stand by. It's time now for the current OTR totals.
The current and final OTR totals here on the Old Tube Radio Network for, what is this, August 13th of 2022. Let's go to the REA. Yeah, that's a nice shot. We had 31 and 42. We had 73 SWLs check in tonight. We had more than that. We had tons of SWLs checking in all over the place, whether they were from Skipland, local, on the video side, wherever. Doing good tonight here. 15 on page 1, 16 on page 2, 20 on page 3, and 22 on page 4. Radios tonight we had 7, with a tie between the Brownings at 2 and the International Crystal Manufacturing radios at 2. Starting with the International Crystal Manufacturing CTZ 100, really nice audio. That might be a player. I think it's going to be staying on the shelf over at the Green Arrow, so we might hear that in future episodes. We had a triple play from Hustler, SWL60. He had the E.F. Johnson Messenger TWO, Robin T123 Bravo, and the Hustler from World Radio Labs for radios 2, 3, and 4. Radio number 5, Harvey, on his International Crystal Manufacturing CTZ 100A. Still sounding good. Nice frequency, so that crystal from them doing well. Harvey also on the Browning set, the Browning twins, the R68, T68. One's the Beagle, one's the Bagel. You say tomato, I say tomato, but let's not call the whole thing off. The Old Tube Radio Network here on Saturdays around 8 p.m. Pacific time. 27085 is our frequency. We do audio streaming at oldtuberadio.net. We also have the video, which stays up. So if you're watching this in the future, or is it the past? Hope you enjoyed what you saw, what you heard, and we also encourage you to do something, a get on the air radio night. It doesn't have to be tube radios, it could be vintage, it could be anything. Just get people on the air, out and about. And you'll be glad you did. Also, if you are studying to upgrade or get your first amateur radio license, it is a great time to do it. Cycle 25 is still happening. It will be happening for years and years, meaning that the conditions will get better, so you'll need less and less power and less antennas to make a contact. There are all sorts of modes and items of interest from which to choose. So in years from now, when you cannot make a contact at any time on your 11-meter radio because it's just solid noise, you'll be able to switch a little bit low or a little bit high and get on and actually use your radio. 73, everybody. Did you guys get the, they said they got the 8-track queued up I don't know which selection that they got, but it looks like it's going to be doing its thing. So
I wouldn't do that if I were you. You're going to lose your YouTube account.
So we will see what happens. No, I think we have the official copyrights of the Espresso Trucking Company, and they seem to be happy to get any type of airplay at all. So I'm waiting for them to say that they've actually got the item fired up. Yes? No? All right, I think they've got it. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, 73, everybody.
Hello, DX, my old friend. I've come to shoot skip once again. Because my linear softly tweaking pinned your meter while I was speaking. And the audio that punched through your RF gain is not to blame. It's just the sounds of DX. In restless dreams I felt alone when no DX could reach my zone. Neath the halo of an old tube amp, I keep my mic down like a DX champ. When my eyes were stabbed by the flash of my on-air light, it lit the night and filled my ears with DX. And in the distant night I heard an eagle's pinging a Q-bird. People talking without breaking. People talking about nothing. People keying old tube rigs that crackle through the air without a care and fill the waves with DX. I said, bros, you do not know how to work an oscilloscope. Watch my TikToks that I might teach you. Swing your beam so that I might reach you. But my words, like burnt out finals fell. It's just as well. Echoed in the walls of my shack. The operators bowed and prayed to the noise toys they had made. And the scope flashed out its warning in the waves that it was forming. Net control said the words of the text are written in the photo facts and CB tricks and whispered in the sound of DX.
Break OTR.